All righty. You damn right. It is a Thursday. It's a tournament Thursday. Your bracket is now locked. You can't change anything. Hopefully you picked that national champion correctly. We'll get to a little Texas basketball, but we're focusing on Texas football today in a special modcast. I'm Chad Hastings, Jason Sukamel, Anwar Richardson, Alex Dunlap. They've all jumped in. Our man Jeff Ketchum is dealing with some stuff this week. We'll let him tell you the full story when it's time, but everybody's fine. Everybody's good. Just some craziness going on in the Ketchum house, and they're taking care of that. Jeff Ketchum will be back as soon as he can. Maybe tomorrow's House Divided show, I've been told, but you just never know. It's been a wild week for Ketch. So we wish him all the best dealing with everything he's dealing with this week. We are dealing with Longhorn football. And gentlemen, the good news is Texas has started spring practice. The bad news is I hadn't factored in the rain when we got up today. And then I started seeing y'all's messages about, wow, it's raining and they might close practice. And then they close it up. So, Jason, let me start with you since you were the first one I saw kind of reacting to it. What occurs when the rain hits? Is this close up and do nothing, or is this close up, we're going to the bubble, and now the media just can't watch?
Well, the first thing that happens, there's a lot of bitching and moaning behind the scenes among the Orange Blood staff. Like, oh, no, like, are they going to close practice now? And are we going to get enough heads up? Hey, and Alex said it in our team's channel, instant messaging. To their credit, they gave us plenty of heads up. So because a lot of times, dude, we've been, Alex probably more than any of us in Anwar, they're on their way to campus and you make that hour-long drive fighting traffic. And then you get there and you're like, oh, sorry, guys, we're even practicing the bubble. Like, really? You couldn't have told us.
I told them last time it happened that this just shows an immense amount of disrespect for us personally.
It really. I think even listen. I'm not. Alex is one. He doesn't mind ruffling feathers. I don't usually do that, but I think I even emailed him the one time like, "Come on, guys! I had to get babysitters for my kids. I had to drive in." But anyways,
I didn't email a dang person. Man, I walked right up to their faces. Basically what happened with this today was they weren't going to give us open practice today, right? I was anticipating the next open practice being Tuesday. I think we're going to get open practice Tuesday, hopefully Thursday as well. But what happened was this was supposed to be since there's the coaches, what's the coaches clinic going on?
High school coaches clinic. Yeah.
So what they were trying to do was they said, since we have all that going on, we don't want to deal with media and deal with the coaches. It might be practice, all the rest of the stuff. So we'll just give you guys some players after practice, right? That was the original thing. They were going to give us some players to interview. Anwar's favorite thing in the world.
Oh yeah,
but
love the stuff no one wants to read. Go ahead.
But then what happened was, because of the women's Final Four stuff, they're having a media availability at the place not to be mentioned where these media availabilities occur. And so the space wasn't there. So they said, well, the media's been planning to have something this morning, I guess, against our best wishes. I guess we'll have to give them access to practice. And then so we were happy that we were going to get practice access this morning. But like we said, we woke up, it was raining. They moved that thing into the bubble. And it used to be they would let us watch practice in the bubble. I'm not sure exactly what changed. Do you guys remember if it happened with Sark or whether it was – they used to say like one or two members of each media entity can go in, right?
I feel like it was well before Sark. I feel like we haven't been allowed in the bubble in a long time.
Well, I just know that once and maybe this is why, like once I got tackled, like I got run into, somebody like out of bounds kind of ran into me. It really bruised my leg up real bad. Maybe they just don't want stuff like that happening. There's just not a lot of space.
There's not much room. And even when they're at Denius, I mean, we're very restricted of where we can go, and we got to stay pretty far away from the field for the most part. We can get on a little bit of the sidelines, but there's not much space in that bubble. So I think it's a safety thing. But hey, we'd all sign waivers, right? Like we'll sign a waiver and just let us go in and watch practice. But
yeah, Adam Lowe would tell you it's unenforceable.
Alex, you can't have my signature. You can't have that.
But they do, Chad. They do go through a full practice. I mean, it's a little more condensed down to one field. But well, actually, Tuesday they were on one field only as well. But yeah, they do a full practice. It's business as usual, but it's indoors in the bubble. So I get it. There's some safety concerns, and even if there's a hint of lightning or if a little mist on the ground, guys slipping and sliding, they usually go ahead and move it indoors. So we woke up this morning Alex, I think it was about 7 a.m. was like, hey, it looks like a little bit rainy. So we've done this long enough. We had an idea they'd probably move it to the bubble, and then they notified us shortly thereafter.
Yeah. So in terms of those updated pictures and practice notes and all that stuff, that'll have to wait a day or two. And like Alex said, maybe it's into next week and maybe it's Tuesday or so for that next practice where the media will get to take a bit of a look. Before we get into what you guys are already thinking about and hearing about from spring practice, Anwar, I do not mean this question to be snarky for Texas fans, but let's just realistically talk about this for a second in terms of weather. Once Texas does upgrade that practice facility and upgrade and get past the bubble time, will today change, you think, for all you guys too? Where when you get everything upgraded, they'll be glad to have y'all inside because they'll have plenty of space and it'll be set up, it'll be set up like it needs to be. Is that fair?
Nah, the typical rule of media is once you take it away, they very rarely give it back. So
just like everything else that wants to have control over you. Once they can take something away, they don't ever want to give it back. It's just that's the way it goes.
It's very rare that they like, all right, we're going to do this for a moment, and then things are going to return back to normal. Like, no, they maybe we'll maybe get. It's funny. I don't even know if I think we've only been given like maybe one tour. Did we ever get the tour of the south end zone and the locker rooms and everything like that? Like, I felt like we were supposed to get that, and maybe TV got it one time. I don't even remember if we got that. So the answer to that, it will be for them, but it's not for us. The thing is, it's just we're two separate entities. Like I think for the university, for their purposes, they could put the things out on their social media. Their Twitter accounts, their Instagram accounts, the YouTube stuff. And that kind of serves as their message to the public as opposed to like, we need the media to kind of help us pub up things or get access or all that. I don't think that's really a concern, and I don't say it from a negative perspective. Mm-hmm. I just feel like I understand where we're at. So no, I don't think those things change at all.
Gotcha. By the way,
but I do think now, just based on how I haven't looked enough to see this about how the new building is going to look and stuff like that, or how much space there's going to be. But maybe there will be something where if they did give us an open practice and it did rain, maybe with the new facility we'd be able to go into a place and there might be enough room to have some media in there if it did rain. The bubble is really small. I mean, I'm reminded every time. I was in there yesterday, and it's a cramped spot. So maybe for that reason, Chad, it could be like maybe for that.
It's not crammed enough for all the coaches who are going to be there. It's not crammed enough when they bring in junior days and all kinds of families. It's not crammed enough for that. It's only crammed for us.
Yeah. Here's what I need. UT, if you're watching, once everything is upgraded and everything's badass and state of the art, we need a dedicated area for all media, and I need a special seat with a little plaque on it for Alex Dunlap that just says cockamamie. That's all we need. That is all we are looking for that. It'd be like Tom Coughlin. I want you, Alex, to have like a Tom Coughlin seat that everybody knows it's your seat. Nobody else is allowed to sit in it. How about that?
Wasn't Coughlin the one that had all the clocks in the whole facility turned like 5 minutes back or something like that? Yeah. Coughlin had a bunch of little peccadillos, man.
He did. And by the way,
bunch of what? Is this a new word?
Peccadillo is a good one.
I don't know.
Peccadillos, cockamamie. All right, here we go.
Peccadillos. It's like your little unique and cockamamie things about you, right?
Peccadillo. Wow.
Peccadillo and cockamamie in the same sentence.
I think that's what it means. Sometimes I just say things, Jason.
I think you're right on that one. I think it's an idiosyncrasy, right? Another nice big word for everybody. All right. So thanks to Oscar for a super chat, $1.99. And how dare you, Oscar? Art starting confirmed? No, that has not been confirmed. Stop it, Oscar. You're over on the 40 acres. You know what these kind of rumors can do. But I think Jason's got the right idea.
2025, Oscar.
Yes, right. 2025. That has been confirmed. Yes. I think Jason's got the right idea. Here's where we need to be getting the info from. Daddy Sorrell, what is the info? What are you?
You don't even have it yet, man. Practice only ended an hour ago. It's tough.
Has Daddy Sorrell gotten a text? Has he gotten a message today from 88 about the practice? We are glad to see you there, Mr. Sorrell. We hope 88 is doing very well. Whatever you want to share, we will certainly take all of that. All right, we definitely want to thank some of our great sponsors today with Orange Bloods Live, and we're going to try to make you hungry a couple different ways. Here's the first way: Prime Shrimp. Jason, I know you've had this. Some of you other guys may have had it too. I'm looking at New Orleans style barbecue and soy ginger. They've got all kinds of flavors. Jason, tell them a little bit about Prime Shrimp, because they can get a cool deal on it with Orange Bloods, and I hear nothing but good things.
I can fill up the whole modcast talking about Prime Shrimp. That's how much I love Prime Shrimp. Okay. Prime Shrimp has been attached with Orange Bloods in a long time. They used to sponsor back in the day. Cole Patterson and I had a recruit cast, we called it. And it wasn't a video, but it was just a podcast, and they were a sponsor there. So yes, I have sampled. I have not sampled the soy ginger. I think I've had all the other flavors. And if you ask me which one's better, dude, they're all amazing. And it's high grade shrimp. It's in a bag. It's seasoned. You drop it in some water for a few minutes. You boil it. Bam, you rip it open. You throw it on some pasta, veggies, rice. You just eat the shrimp by itself. Easy cleanup, about 10 minutes. You have a gourmet lunch, dinner, whatever. Louisiana boil. I love seafood boils. Louisiana boil is amazing. Their signature sauce, garlic, herb, butter, lemon. My mouth is watering talking about it, guys. It's been a while since I've had Prime Shrimp, but I'm a big fan of Prime Shrimp. Yes, they're a sponsor, but even if I see someone out and about, hey, Prime Shrimp, dude, get it. It's easy. It's quick. It's delicious. There is nothing to not like about Prime Shrimp. So give them a try.
I zoomed in to see if maybe he had a plate of it at his place.
No, but I'm not lying. My mouth is watering talking about
yeah, you're into it.
I'm glad I'm hungry. Prime Shrimp sounds amazing. I got to give me some more. Yeah.
I'm glad I asked. Now I feel hungry too. It is the Modcast, a special Modcast today at 12, because there was supposed to be a practice in the morning and we got stuff going on in the afternoon. So we will definitely get as much information to you right now as we can. Mr. Sorrell, never underestimate me, Alex. I'm all over this.
Maybe he is. All right. I'm sorry, Barry. Let us know what's up then, brother.
I'm just glad that Barry, the thing for me, Barry, I joke with this him all about. I joke with him about this all the time. I'm just glad that Barry's back on his porch. Like I'm glad that you're back on your porch. I'm glad that we're hearing 88 is great. I'm glad that we're hearing double-digit sacks. Barry, I give you a hard time about this, but you disappeared on me late last year. You disappeared on us. I don't know where you went to, but I'm glad that you re-upped. I'm glad you recharged, and I'm glad you're back here on your porch. Stay on your porch. Don't be that dog that goes and runs away. I need you to stay on your porch. I need you to be that dog that barks when I open up the fence. I need you to be that dog that keeps on barking. Don't be a lap dog. Don't be a backyard dog. I need you to be a front porch dog. Stay on your porch. That's all I got to say.
There you go. I like it. Speeches for the chat. I dig it. But we also got, real quick, our man Cody Carpentier says Louisiana Cajun is his favorite of Prime Shrimp. He says it's A1 quality. All right, fellas, when it comes to spring practice, they have gotten underway and getting as much as they can get done, obviously on a rain day like today. I guess maybe I'll ask it like this. Sort of, what were you looking forward to today as you were getting into step 2? Anwar, let me start with you. You were over there for day 1. You got to hear from Sark. What were you looking for today if you'd gotten a little bit of that access?
It's actually funny. I was actually going to be looking for Sorrell today because it's like no lie, because I didn't feel like I'll be honest with you, I don't feel like I actually had noticed him in the first practice. And not that he didn't have an impact. I just didn't pay attention enough to him. So actually I was definitely going to pay a little bit more attention to him, a little bit more attention to some of those edge guys, because, I think I focused a lot more on the tackles. But I didn't pay attention to the guys on the outside. So that honestly would have been the thing that I focused in on more, because I want to see how that thing is coming together. I think, the key for Texas, Alex has the numbers, he has the metrics, but, they're getting those QB hurries and really, affecting the pocket and getting there and not having guys have so much time to pass. Like those, we know they're good at a run stop last year. Like that was bona fide. But as far as affecting the passer, there was some times where they just weren't getting home. So I just want to see what those guys look like. I wanted to get an eye on, them, Ethan Berg, who I've saw, but a little Colton Vasek, Colin Simmons. That's what it would have been I was focused on today.
Alex, how about you? What were you looking forward to today?
Yeah, and we'll get it. I mean, we have a war room tonight. Maybe between now and then we'll get some info. But and we'll get to I'm sure we'll have practices next week. But yeah, what I'm just interested in seeing, and I need a better idea of how the defensive depth chart is sort of shaping up. And I feel like maybe getting to go Tuesday after they've had 2-3 practices will be more helpful, because it felt like the starting kind of the base starting group. It felt like it was about like we thought it was going to be. Now, speaking of Barron Sorrell and Barry and stuff like that, I don't know what's going to be happening with Ethan Burke and Barron Sorrell and how those dudes are going to be lining up, and whether they might kind of move from side to side, or, how those, because I found it really odd, the groups that they split up into whenever they went into their 2 groups with those edge guys, right? They seemed to be groupings of dudes that it wasn't like there was a group where it was just like, like Barron Sorrell and Finkley and these other kinds of dudes that you would figure were more the strong side defensive end guys. It was mixed in with like, one group had a Billy Walton, and one group had a Jamon Tapp, and one group had a Colton Vasek, and the other group had a Colin Simmons, and Trey Moore was in a different group than Colin Simmons and stuff. And so none of that that's Barry Sorrell's got accurate info for Barry. Email me, alex@rosterwatch.com, dude. I got to text you my phone number.
I like he's sending everything in all caps too. He's letting us know it's all
Alex@rosterwatch.com. I will never tell. But the thing about it is, I'm curious about how that's going to work. But more specifically, they were really rotating in and working through position drills behind Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton. It was always kind of different guys behind those guys as the next ones up. And some of these dudes, I don't know if they're, I was just interested, like, are they playing nose? Are they playing defensive tackle? Yesterday, Football Junkie was asking earlier how many guys the current players showed up to the pro day yesterday, and that's a good question. I'd say probably 50. I mean, just a ton of these guys. And what was cool about that is it gave me the opportunity to, you get to stand next to these guys in pads and watch them on the football field and stuff like that, but you're not really up close with them. This thing, you're standing right next to these dudes because you're all huddled up trying to get around them to see the drills, and you're trying to give the scouts space, but you also everybody wants to fill in and kind of see the drills, and it's kind of hard to see sometimes, right? So you're kind of looking up at these dudes, and I'm just like, geez, man. It's like, well, I know, I'm looking at like Savea or like Sadir Mitchell, and just kind of get an idea of how big those dudes are and stuff like that. And I'm to the point where, man, could this dude play nose? Could he play defensive tackle and stuff? So mainly just on the defense, how that depth chart is sort of shaking out, how the depth, mainly just on the immediate 2 deep, how that's going to look. That's what I was going to be most interested in kind of clarifying.
And again, today the rain sent everything into the bubble, so the media didn't get their normal look at practice today.
Ben G says he has a source who's inside the bubble bathroom. Well, that's impossible. There is no bathroom in the bubble.
There's no space.
The entire bubble is a big public toilet.
There's barely any airflow in there, much less a bathroom, man.
We got a.
By the way, Text 94 asked if did we get pictures of the team coming off the bus. That was banned this year. Sorry.
Yeah, bus been banned. Good question.
That was banned.
And just for everybody's knowledge, Text 94 is Sandman. For some reason, Sandman has had to change his name. I don't know why.
Why does he keep having to change it? Does he just keep getting kicked off of YouTube? Sandman?
He tried to blame me. He thought I was sensitive to all his sheep jokes. That's not true. I have no power to ban anything. So that is Sandman.
Maybe at the night show. Did he do something on the night show? Maybe one of those guys banned him.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. I think we certainly would never had a problem with Sandman, but that's who that is right there. So Sandman or Text 94, we're glad to.
I can unban him if there's an issue.
Yes, we'll double check that. We'll check that for you, Sandman. Anwar's got a lot more acumen and power on that than I do, so we'll have him double check. Real quick, guys. Jason, before we get to this super chat, your thought on kind of what you were looking for today. You took a lot of great pictures on day one, assuming you were going to go do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a picture you wanted that you hadn't gotten? Like, did you look at your pictures and think, man, I didn't get a great one of blank? Like, was there any of that you were thinking of today?
Yeah, normally I get more pictures of the offensive linemen than I do any other position, other than maybe quarterbacks for obvious reasons. Because they always take the offensive linemen up to the kind of upper level fields, and we can get real close to those guys and get great shots. They didn't do that this Tuesday, so I didn't get any, I don't think, offensive line pictures other than a couple guys warming up. And a lot of people gave me grief because we've talked so much about Trevor Gooseby, about he's gained all this weight or good weight and he looks great, and he might be battling for backup left tackle, maybe who knows, starting right tackle. So Trevor Gooseby was on my list of guys to get pictures of. And I tried. We've got pictures of the guys, CJ Baxter, not a veteran, but guys who played a lot last year. So I want to try to get some pictures of some of the news guys. I got Colin Simmons on Tuesday. I got Xavier Filsaime, just some of the freshmen and some of the guys who maybe people don't kind of get to see and know about quite as much. But, Alex always does such a good job of focusing on the offensive line. I didn't do any focus on the offensive line, be it through pictures or watching them on Tuesday. So they were kind of going to be on my priority list, and maybe just grab a couple more of the freshman guys that came in. And I don't think I got any shots of Isaiah Golden either. So, or Matthew Golden, excuse me. So I probably would have liked to gotten some of him. And, Jonte is always a talking point, obviously Arch, and kind of some of the usual suspects.
Yeah. Man, there is really a drinking game to be had this year with Texas football, isn't there? Just get hammered with your friends and try.
Now I'm messing up first names.
Try to keep Bolden, Golden, Bond, Baker. There's all these different things you can mix up with this team. Fellas, how about this for a super chat? 199 from Football Junkie. We appreciate it, Junkie. Over under at 3. All SEC players for Texas. I think this might have been the person that was throwing out Colin Simmons' name. Somebody else threw out the idea of Colin Simmons as freshman of the year in the SEC. How about all SEC players from Texas over under at 3?
Anwar, first team? First team? Or
I'm assuming they mean first. Let's assume, you know what? Let's assume first team. Let's just keep it simple. Anwar, what do you think?
So the over/under is 3. So is he asking us on the line, or is he asking us take the more or the less on that one?
Just take the over/under.
The over/under. Well, let me. Quinn, Banks. Is there anybody else on the offensive line potentially? Maybe DJ Campbell potentially. I don't know about the running backs at this moment. You got to think one of the receivers. Yeah, I'll take the over. If I just start, one of the receivers would hit. So that's at least 4 right there.
Especially if we're talking both sides of the ball, right? You're talking offense and defense.
Yeah. And you're actually talking, like 24 because you got a punter and a kicker too.
Because you got return guys and all that. You're right.
Oh, return. I didn't even think so. It's more like 25. I don't know. Do they split up kick returner, punt returner? It's probably the same, right? Returner.
Sometimes they do specialist, maybe as a specialist returner. Maybe it's one thing. Yeah, I would go over. I think I would go over on that one. Jason, Alex, y'all agree on that?
Man, I think it's a lot closer than y'all are saying. I'm going to give you Banks. I think Quinn's probable.
Anthony Hill.
Anthony Hill will be my third one. And honestly, beyond those 3, I don't know that there's anybody else I would confidently.
You don't think one of the receivers is going to pop?
Honestly, I don't know what all the receiver depth charts look like in the SEC, but I mean, maybe Bond, maybe Jonte.
Maybe one. I'm not saying all, just one.
Yeah, no, but I don't think it's a given by any means that one of those guys gets first team all SEC. Again, I'm not familiar, right now with everybody that's coming back or who all transferred in at these other programs, but yeah, man, I would probably go over, but if you set that line at 4, then I think I'm probably taking a push at 4 because I'm like Alex said, I'm probably going Anthony Hill. I'm going Quinn. Who would be the other quarterbacks in the SEC that would be in the conversation?
Back.
Obviously, Back.
You know what? Yeah, I'm not even sure Quinn gets first team. Yeah, you're right. Obviously, Carson Beck. Dude, you know what, man? I might just stay away from that bet. I think 3 might be a push for me.
Okay. So it sounds like Junkie put it at the right number for Jason. I think that is probably about the right place to start. We'll see.
Hey,
Junkie,
by the way, Chad, I just checked this for clarity. We don't have any blocked users, from what I can tell,
Okay.
on our YouTube channel. So
okay.
I
There you
went
go.
and looked. I looked at our. I'm looking at our account right now.
So Sandman, that is not us. Double
That's
check
you.
with YouTube or some other entity.
Yeah, make sure and call YouTube customer service, and they'll get right back to you about your handle.
Exactly. 1-800 YouTube. Just figure it. Yeah, just get right to them. They'll be just fine. We appreciate that super chat, Junkie. We'll keep that number in mind as we go through. That's an interesting thought process there. All right, we already tried to make you hungry with prime shrimp. Alex has got a way for you to get hungry a little later if you want food sent to you. I got a way for you to enjoy food right now if you want to go. And where you might want to go is one of my favorite places. It is Hayes City Store out there in Driftwood. FM 150 in Driftwood. Take advantage of great spring weather. They've got screens showing the games of the tournament or whatever you're interested in. And they've just got some of the best food and drink I've ever had in my life. Best key lime pie ever. And if you don't like that or you just don't know what you want for dessert, just say Barry's Heaven. Say, Chad told me to order Barry's Heaven. You will be thoroughly excited about it. It is fantastic. Plus, they got chicken fried steak and burgers and pizza, just done in a way that you have rarely had in your life. They take all those details and they take them to the best level. Hayes City Store. There's your QR code. Get on out there. Tell Travis, Tamara, and the crowd that we said hello at Hayes City Store. Making myself too hungry today with this. The tournament is underway. Texas will play tonight about 6 o'clock. We'll get a quick prediction from all the guys on the Texas-Colorado State game before we get out.
I'm only can you believe this? I'm only 20. How close am I? I'm only like 22 miles. I thought it said 22 minutes. I'm only 22 miles from Hayes City Store.
No,
I've never been there. That's not that far.
Lucky you. That's good. Hey, Alex, I say it all the time. It's worth the trip no matter how far you go. I got to go a little over an hour, but I never blink. If it was only 22 minutes, yeah, that's definitely no big deal. So
I need to make it out there.
That's good. We'll get that report from you once you get out there. Speaking of a report, Vivek had an interesting chat, fellas, about one of those young guys. Is Xavier Filsaime the first guy off the bus for the DBs?
No.
Jason, I think your picture of Filsaime.
Dude, I don't know. You see that picture of him, Alex? He is cut up, man.
Yeah, I think the first guy off the bus is Derek Williams, though, right?
I don't know, man. I'm not. If you're just talking purely like off the bus, like catch your eye, dude. I might put Filsaime over Derek Williams. I mean, he is. Maybe I just caught him like at the right. Maybe he was flexing when I took that picture, man. But he is lean and cut up. He looks like a senior in this program. So, he'd be up there for sure, man. I mean, Derek Williams.
Jelani McDonald's a little bit of a first guy, bus guy.
Jelani's super tall, but I don't know that he's. And I haven't seen Jelani this spring. I didn't see him.
If we're talking first guy bus, just like the biggest muscles and stuff. I mean, maybe it's one of those dudes.
Yep.
I mean, Terrence Brooks maybe too. He's a big, well put together dude. But yeah, Filsaime. When I took that picture, I was like, then I saw the picture. I'm like, holy crap! I didn't realize how put together this dude as a true freshman is. He's packed on some really impressive lean muscles. So yeah, Vivek, he would certainly be right there at the front of the line to get off that bus. Be the first one off the bus.
That was definitely an impressive picture as Texas rolls through spring practice. By the way, if you need a nice round number today to get excited about, 30 days till the spring game today. 30 days away from April 20th and that spring game, 1 o'clock. Make your plans now. We're going through some of the guys' thoughts on spring practice so far. Again, things got closed down today in terms of because of the rain. But we're talking about spring practice so far. Also, remember, it's Thursday, so it is War Room Night at orangebloods.com. We'll mention that. There he is. There it is.
Yeah, dude. I mean, look at those thighs. That sounds so creepy. Omar's going to make fun of me, but look at his thighs and his shoulders, his biceps. I mean, come on,
yeah,
dude.
he's gotten bigger.
That's
Gosh.
a true freshman.
Yeah. I didn't see that photo. Yeah, that's a good photo of him. He looks good in that photo.
I'll try to get some more for you, Alex, on next week.
It's just sometimes it's part of the football game, part of being a fan. Sometimes you want to see impressive guys, and it's better than the opposite, fellas. It is better than the opposite. And that part of it, I think I'd be really excited about if I'm a Texas fan. I'm not saying there wasn't anybody that looked a little sloppy. We've obviously talked about some of the things that were discussed, but overall, it seems like Becton and those players, and they've done a lot of good work. And
I need
now
to make up for it for Onwar. I need to go scout a Texas beach volleyball.
Now there you go. Now there you go. There you go. I need you to leave the Blue Oyster for us and come on and give us some of those volleyball picks. Now
my wife's like, "Gosh, where are you going with that camera?" Oh, sorry, honey, I got work to do.
Do the calls, honey.
Don't just come to my office when I'm working. Yeah.
And to kind of play off of my last question to Jason, when I asked about pictures and stuff, it was interesting to me, Jason. I didn't see a picture of Anthony Hill, and he was a guy that I know in some of the notes you guys have and reporting. I think it was in a war room. There was a note about him. Maybe if the team had to pick one guy, if the coaches had to pick one guy that's the absolute badass, it's probably him. How do you maybe it's certain positions? Positions like linebacker like that, is it something where you can't get a good sense even in a spring practice because they're not going full blast and hitting and stuff? Or like how did the Anthony Hill part of it work? Is he not super visible in that first practice? Like how did that work?
Nah, you nailed it. They keep the linebackers pretty far away from us, so it's hard to get good action shots unless it's like a special teams drill or stretching. But Anthony Hill, like even in high school, he was always a bigger linebacker, and you kind of see him in his pads and you're like, okay, he's kind of a bigger, almost a throwback type linebacker. But then you see him in person, and not to sound creepy again, but I've seen him at workouts and stuff when he's got a shirt off or a shirt pulled up. He is ripped, dude. He is way leaner when you see him in person than you might expect.
And he's just an incredible football player. He's awesome, incredible. He's one of the best players on the entire team. And the thing about me, like the reason I didn't really have much to say about Anthony Hill is because I look at Anthony Hill and I'm like, okay, well, there's Anthony Hill. He looks great. Everybody knows how awesome he is. Like, let me go look and see what some of these other dudes who, like, how does this dude look? Who's the new guy? So certainly if there hadn't been talk about Anthony Hill, I don't want it to certainly, at least from, I don't know, I feel like you guys feel the same way, but for me, from my perspective, clearly I'm a giant fan of his. I think that he's just an incredible football player. So, but I did notice yesterday, did he weigh 240 last year? He looks like he's a little bit more filled out. I'd like to look back at the 2023 roster and just see, because I think whenever I got home, I'm like, man, Anthony Hill. When I saw him at the pro day, I'm like, golly, man, he's big. And I looked at I remember, yes, 243 whenever I got back home. So I think he probably put on some weight, but he's still out there moving well. And even though they are moving him to that Mike spot, from what I was talking to somebody on the staff and they were saying, but yeah, and I had this in the war room last week. It's the same position that Manu played at Arizona, the guy that we were all talking about. Man, if Nansen comes, maybe he'll bring Manu, right? This uber productive first team all Pac-12. I think he was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year last year. 116 tackles, something like that. I think 9.5 TFLs, 6.5 sacks. So he was used he wasn't used like a traditional Mike. And what they're saying is that Nansen sort of wants Hill to be like a supercharged Manu, because the thing about Manu, like this is a discussion that we've had before, is that I think it was Travis Gailey maybe who on the podcast said like, I don't know, because I was saying Texas should go after Manu. He's like, I don't know. I saw him at the Arizona basketball game. He had a beer gut, all this stuff. We're like, who are you to say a beer gut? Like, you come on. But but the fact of the matter is he's a little undersized, scrappy player. He's not Anthony Hill. He's not the athlete Anthony Hill is. And so the thought, I guess, with the staff is like, man, if he could do that with Manu, right? Imagine what he can do with Anthony Hill. So that's going to be exciting to watch. Like we talked about it earlier, man. Kelvin Banks, Anthony Hill, those would be my two guys that, you go into that question with a football junkie, three all, SEC players. Those would be the first two off of my list.
Yeah. Well, I think, and that's the key to it, Anwar, is they're a given. I mean, listening to Alex say that's also part of it. That's an automatic. Like you said, you guys aren't walking into practice thinking, I wonder if Anthony Hill's any good. I wonder if Kelvin Banks is going to look okay today. You guys are trying to find out the full picture. So that would explain things. But I'm assuming for those Texas fans that are also wondering, I'm assuming that when Anthony Hill and Kelvin Banks walk out on that practice field, they look like you expect them to look. They look like two guys that are ready to head to the SEC, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but I think it's to even build off of what you're saying, Chad, like, because I totally agree with that. But I think there's the other portion of it is when we look at the other guys who we are unsure of. I think the one thing that we've seen from Sarkisian and his staff is that we're almost at that point where we could probably say next man up. And feel pretty confident about that. Like, we were unsure, like, okay, what does the running back position look like without like a Bijan Robinson, right? And it's like, I don't know. And next thing you know, Jonathan Brooks, from a statistical standpoint, is just as good as what Bijan was. And then you lose, Morrow and Keandre. You say to yourself, okay, what's going to happen at that position? And I never felt like those guys set such a high standard that it couldn't be matched or exceeded. But then we saw what happened from the defensive tackle position over there, right? And so we've saw that, it's like, okay, Isaiah Nair is out, and who they're going to bring in to possibly to help replace him. And then next thing you know, Adonai Mitchell balls out. We don't think about Isaiah Nair. So I also, so to your point, there's guys who check the boxes that we know, Anthony Hills, and to your point, to Kelvin Banks. But then there's the other guys that we're trying to see. Okay, but what are those guys going to do? But also, go into that field and like, all right, well, if this is the guy you say is going to be the guy, like if you're telling me like it's going to be Collins and Broughton, all right, cool. You've given me enough on the resume to make me believe that if you say this is your guy, that's going to be the guy, and I'm probably not going to really have to question it.
Gotcha. All right. If you guys want to throw in a chat, the Specs chat has a lot of good folks in there. We're almost at 500 right now. We thank you for that. Also, Pro Day yesterday. We'll get Alex's thoughts. He was there, and kind of get a wrap up on that. There was some good and there was some in Pro Day. We'll get both sides of things as we roll on. Right now, let's take a breath and remind you about Specs. They sponsor the chat, and they've got all kinds of stuff to keep you stocked up for the tournament or whatever
you're needing. Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
All right, Alex Dunlap, you got your eyes on Pro Day yesterday. They found enough room in the bubble for you yesterday to get him in there and get him going. Let me just start with JT Sanders. Let's start with what it was yesterday. You've had a chance to think about it, cook on it a little bit. Give me the breakdown on what Sanders did and didn't do yesterday, in your opinion, and kind of what it all means.
Well, JT Sanders has had a rough pre-draft process. He just has. He's had a disappointing pre-draft process, and I'm getting the distinct feeling that there are some people out there that might think that it could be a little bit of a warning sign about his preparedness. You don't go in there like, and this isn't about JT Sanders being, I'm not saying he's lazy. I'm not saying any of this. Like, I'm not saying it's not about his work ethic. I'm not saying any of that stuff. Right. But what you can say, it's the same deal. People talked about, and I saw people in the chat earlier talking about Orlando Brown and stuff like that. Right. And the issue with his bench press and his 40 time and all the rest of it. Right. And the scouts that I talked to at that time are saying the same thing that, same vibes I'm getting now is that it's not that they think JT Sanders is like a weakling or he's not a good athlete or anything like that. Although he's not testing like a very good athlete at all. It isn't that. It's just the idea of what. How can he be that unprepared? Like, how can he only do eight reps? And if he's not healthy, why did he do it anyway? He looked healthy to me. He looked fine to me. He just didn't look. And it wasn't just that, man. He had a 30-inch vertical. Ryan Sanborn had almost as high vertical as he did.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that's bad, Alex. I mentioned that yesterday. When you see people I'm going through your thread and I'm seeing Orange Bloods, posters making that comment. Oh, he barely, hey, at least he had a better vertical than the punter. I'm like, ooh, that's just
He
not
broad
good.
jumped 9.6, Chad. I mean, it's like you throw it on top of the bad 40 at the combine. I don't remember exactly what it was at the combine. Maybe somebody could look it up, but like it wasn't good.
He talked about low 4.6s, but he was up in the 4.7, 4.8s, wasn't he?
I don't know if it was quite 4.8, but it was disappointing for sure because
I think he was in
because
4.7,
dude,
maybe.
I mean his line on Prize Picks before he made that low. I'm shooting for the low 4.6s before he made that statement at the combine. His line on Prize Picks, just to show you sort of what the general consensus was on JT Sanders, was that it was at a 4.56.
4.69 officially is what I'm seeing, Alex. Yeah,
9. Okay, that's my bad.
Okay, so the official was a little bit low. Man, it feels like the officials came in lower this year a lot more often.
First run was a
4.7.
Yeah, 4.74. I'm showing, and then he ran a 4.69. Officially was his fastest.
So So a little bit better than I would have imagined, but still, I mean, still a good tenth and a half off, right? And that's a big deal. I mean, you're talking about the difference between a 4.4 and a 4.55 if you're a running back. That's a big difference. So, look, it's been a rough process for him. I don't know what else to say. It's just
it's still the second tight end for you. It's off the board.
Debatable now. It's like now you got like Theo Johnson from Penn State. You got, people are talking about Ben Sinnott from Kansas State. Like maybe like he tested really well. There are a couple dudes that people are acting like could possibly go ahead of him now. So
is Jared Wiley in that discussion?
I wouldn't put Jared Wiley over him. I think Theo might go over him.
Okay,
but I don't think that Jared Wiley would.
Alex, you're a combine guy and obviously pro day guy. Like Chad and I were talking yesterday. Like to me, if you go out and run a slow time, that's not good. But sometimes you're either fast or you're not fast. Maybe you can improve your time a little bit on form or your start or something. But to only go out and do 8 reps and some of these other numbers, that just doesn't seem like you put in any work, man. I mean, you should be able to. I mean, if you don't have the strength and you can only do 8 reps on the bench, you should be able to put in the work to improve that considerably. So is it just kind of gone through the motions at it?
I don't know. It feels like it, and it's fine. And people in chat are saying it's like people who cheer from during the season are trashing him now. It's like, I'm not trashing anybody. I'm telling you what I saw. This isn't trashing him. If you want to trash him because of what I say, then that's you trash him, you celebrate him, you do whatever you want. I'm telling you what happened, and I'm telling you what people are saying. I'm telling you what not fans are saying. I'm telling you what evaluators are saying about this, right? And the fact of the matter is, what was baked into his tight end 2 projection in this class, the number 2 tight end behind Brock Bowers, what was baked into that was a great athlete, right? This is like the opposite of the A.D. Mitchell, who, by the way, A.D. Mitchell didn't have a great pro day either, like in the receiving. He didn't have a good day at the combine outside of running the 4.3 and having the big jumps and stuff like that. His on-field portion was a little bit rough. He also had 2 bad drops yesterday. But regardless, it was different with the testing with A.D. Mitchell, right? Because with A.D. Mitchell, everybody comes in there. What's he going to run? A 4.52, 4.55? Certainly not a giant speed demon, right? He's going to manipulate you at the top of the route. He's going to body you. He's going to change up his speed. He's going to be able to get separation in his own kind of A.D. Mitchell kind of smooth ways, and he's going to be able to track a football down the field really, really well, adjust to it, and make plays like that, right? Well, he comes in and he runs a 4.35, and all of a sudden you say, whoa, okay, well that wasn't baked in, so let's go ahead and adjust. Because now we know that A.D. Mitchell does all those things that we said are so cool that we're willing to excuse away a 4.55 because of those things, right? And now we're saying he runs a 4.35 and does all that. You have to adjust because of that, okay? Take, for example, now on the other side, Jatavion Sanders, who what was baked in was like, yo, man, this guy can't block at all, but he's an incredible athlete. Just get the ball in his hands, see what he can do after catch, all the rest of it, and then he comes in and he tests like, I hate to say it, he's tested like a sub athlete. And so that causes you to have to kind of reevaluate things in a little bit of a different way. And so this isn't to say that, it's been all a disaster for JT Sanders, who's not going to be good at the NFL level. Like this is all about this is the minutia of the evaluation and the scouting at the NFL level, right? That these guys, the process, this is just to look into the process of how these dudes think, right? They give the feedback to these general managers and these coaches. And it's with JT Sanders, something that was baked into his evaluation. They're going back and they're saying, well, this might not necessarily be true. And so when we baked it in, we might need to kind of back off the gas a little bit here with how high we're going to be on the guy. And that's all there is to it.
Well, I think too, Alex, too, to go into that is that we're almost judging it off of a guy that was supposed to be maybe a late first rounder, and now when you start thinking like first round, is the tight end, right? You probably think recent memory like a Kyle Pitts, right? Like that. That's what you want your first rounder to kind of like, if you're going to go and invest it, you want it to be testing like that. And if you're not testing like that, then you tell yourself, okay, well, we're just not going to go that high on a guy. First rounder, I always say like you're not if you're an NFL GM, you're not going to get fired for messing up a 7th round pick, but you will get fired for messing up a 1st round pick. Like you need a guy who's going to check all the boxes. And so when there's a little bit of question marks back, sure, guys will go back and look at the film. And every team is going to go back and look at the film. But at the end of the day, when you start thinking about question marks and checks all the boxes, when you go 1st round, 2nd round, you want things that are a little bit more solid. You don't want as many question marks. You do question marks on day 3. You don't necessarily want to do that on day 1 and early on day 2.
And remember, check out Alex's thread from Pro Day at orangebloods.com and all the other great stuff at orangebloods.com. The practice stuff from this week. The War Room is coming up tonight. We'll get the guys to give you a little bit of preview, a little bit of looking forward to what the War Room may include tonight. Alex, on the positive side of things, did anybody do any more for themselves in terms of the Longhorns and getting ready for the draft overall than what Byron Murphy has done for himself? Has anybody done a better for them in terms of resume?
And the whole draft class, or
in this group, guys? Like Byron Murphy, to me, he just seems to keep checking those boxes, and there's a lot of positivity.
Xavier Worthy.
Okay, you put
right.
Obviously Worthy probably on top of the list. How far is Murphy? Is he the next guy for you?
Well, I mean, I think Murphy came in with the higher profile, right?
Right.
Murphy came in with the profile of a guy that's going to be drafted as a dude with a true 1st round grade, meaning if they're, between 16, 19 true 1st round grades that are consensus on all the teams' boards every year, that's usually about what it is. Byron Murphy feels like he's one of those guys this year, right? So, So he's come in with this helium. He's kept the helium. The balloon has gone all the way across the Atlantic. What's that, Amelia Earhart or something? Like, am I getting it mixed up? Whatever. Somebody flies around the balloon.
I think you might have mixed your metaphors there.
Whatever it is, man, it's fine.
Yeah.
But so I think with Xavier Worthy, just obviously there's one of the iconic sort of sports moments of this young year, right? Was his 40, right? It's crazy to say that it would have happened at what used to be just a stuffy like evaluation setting there at Lucas Oil, but that was like a big time, there's a crowd cheering and people jumping and records being set. And so he's going to go in the 1st round. Somebody's going to take that speed. You saw yesterday, you saw the photos of Mike McDaniel, the head coach of the Dolphins, just over there kind of shaking his hand and smiling, giving that kind of, that kind of cockamamie smile that he's got. You can just tell he's thinking about, like, dude, what could I do with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and this guy? I mean, it's just like good luck stopping that. But so it's he's going to go 1st round because nobody wants him to go to the Chiefs, right? No one wants that to happen. So I think he's probably done the most to help himself. But man, Murphy yesterday, just an outstanding on-field workout, and then he's juxtaposed in that workout. It was Todd Grantham. Is Todd Grantham the D-line coach for the Saints? I think that's Todd Grantham. It was Todd Grantham putting it through it, and you could just tell he was just super into Byron Murphy. Maybe not so much Tavondre Sweat. Sweat just doesn't move like Murphy, and he just doesn't look as good doing these drills and stuff like that. But Sweat's a great player, Outland Trophy winner. We all get it. But Murphy in these kinds of settings is just, gosh, man, it's just seeing his on-field workout is just something else. But Xavier Worthy didn't drop a single football yesterday. Looked fast as always because that's what super fast record-breaking sprinters do. I think those guys both helped themselves. I think that Jalen Ford probably. I haven't seen the official. Have you guys seen the official 40? I had him somewhere between like a
5'9".
I am somewhere between like a 4.69 and a 4.74, so it's pretty good. The Jet Bush had some good jumps. Jet Bush, I had somewhere between like a 4.59 and a 4.63, a 4.59 and a 4.63 or so. He also took some. He took some routes at like fullback. He was catching passes from Quinn Ewers yesterday at times too. So
I was going to ask you about that, Alex. The idea is that kind of a like an Andrew Beck kind of theory on Jet Bush. You think that's who Jet Bush could be?
It's Andrew. Yeah, like kind of like kind of like one of these guys at the pro day, like the Andrew Becks, the Brendan Schoolers, these kind of dudes that probably already get drafted, but they do enough to where the kind of guys write down their names, or like maybe they bring them in as priority UDFAs or something, give them a chance to make a team. I mean, Schooler was the guy that last year. Do you remember there were all the fuss that was made about Belichick sending him in with a running start to go block the kick?
Mm-hmm.
That was Schooler on that play.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, he's still playing. We know Beck's playing. I think he's now with the Texans after a long time with the Broncos. So yeah, but I think Bush helped himself. Like I mentioned about A.D. Mitchell, I think he had a rough day with the drops. You got to just like Quinn was pretty much dealing yesterday. I think Quinn had 2 or 3 bad throws, and neither of those drops were bad throws to AD. Jordan Whittington, I don't know what's going on with him. He didn't test in anything. He did at least run routes, so it was good to at least see him do something. I thought, man, Jay Witt's going to go through this whole draft process without doing a thing. He invited the Senior Bowl, invited the Combine, and now through the first 90% of his pro day didn't do a thing. Only at the very end did he jump on to do routes. So, yeah. And I thought Watts moved really well. I was thinking yesterday, I was talking to one of these scouts. He's asking me about Watts, and I was like, man, he looks faster now. I think his hamstring really was kind of jacked last year, because there was times when Watts looked slow, and he doesn't look as slow right now. So that's kind of the rundown from that, man. Lots of head coaches, lots of GMs. I think 6 different offensive coordinators. So it was a good showing. It's not like it wasn't one of these pro days like we've had at Texas in recent years, especially before Sark got here, where it was just a couple area scouts and whatever, a couple of CFL guys and some crappy agents. It's a different deal these days.
Yeah, no, it seemed to be have a lot of energy around it. All right, it is the Modcast on this Thursday. The tournament is underway, and let's give a shout out to one of our great sponsors around here, and that is AV Consultations. In fact, when you see this montage, you may be sitting in the room that you see watching some of these games as we head towards the end of a game. But also remember, they can do the setups in your home as well. Check them out.
Hi, this is Tom McKay with Audiovisual Consultations. Today's home electronics can be a bit daunting. My company has spent the last 36 years making sure they are not. For those of you who have not experienced our services yet, we'd like to invite you to give us a try for all your home electronics needs. We carry all the major brands of televisions and stereo equipment at prices you can't find in stores. And we come to you. There's no need to leave your home to find great pricing and incomparable service. No traffic, inexperienced sales geeks, or pushy showroom tactics. We believe in having some fun and dreaming big. You have a dream for your home entertainment? Let us know. We can make it come true. And we are always there to help after the job is done. We cultivate clients for a lifetime by treating everyone like their family. No, not those family members. I'm talking about the ones you actually like. So relax, hug your kids, make love to your wife, and smile. Then, when you have a moment, give us a call at 255-8678. That's 512-255-8678. Or online at avconsultations.com.
And best of luck to everybody who's in that Orange Bloods Bracket Challenge. A free 55-inch TV from AV Consultations is part of the package. And
my 2 lower seeded picks are currently winning, guys. So I got Duquesne over BYU. Yeah, Michigan State's going to pull it off. So
well, I think
is Michigan State definitely pulling it off?
Yeah, they're about like 15. They're a 9 seed. I don't really consider that much of an upset.
Yeah, that's like an 8 versus a 9.
Come on,
man. You act like you picked 16 versus 1.
Hey,
you're in trouble.
Duquesne's
you're
an
in trouble,
11.
Jason. Yeah, when you brag about 9s over 8s that you got that right, that's when you know you're in trouble later.
Yes. That's
There's
how bad
no-
Jason is at this thing.
No doubt about it. And remember, if you're in the Austin area, or really all across Texas, if you go into a Pluckers, Cover 3, AB Consultations sets those places up. So you can go check out the games there today. It is a modcast on this Thursday. Let's get you a reminder. The War Room is coming up tonight at orangebloods.com. It is every Thursday. It is all the news and notes that is fit to print. Gentlemen, let me get a thought from each one of you, kind of where your mind is for the War Room tonight. Anwar, let me start with you. Just a sense for what the people might find in the War Room tonight.
I checked in with some people. I would tell you, I'll give you some insight into which running backs have been impressing so far. And by the way, it will not be the typical names that you are thinking about. So
Okay.
a little teaser for you as far as the War Room is concerned this evening.
Fair enough. Alex, what's in your War Room notebook today?
Man, if I have anything for the War Room, it'll just come up holistically today, Chad, as it always does, man. I'm not I don't Anwar's the guy that gets the regular scoops, man. Whenever I get a scoop, I run to the War Room with it, but it's going to be something that we'll just have to wait and see.
Fair enough. Definitely check out Alex's pro day thread from yesterday if you missed that. Jason, how about you? What's going on in the War Room for you?
Well, first thought, I'm intrigued by Anwar's War Room teaser. Now I'm excited to get my eyes on his War Room write up. But
I'll get it in. I'll get it in early. I got things to do today, so I'll get it in early.
Hey, man, brother, I finished mine last night. I've never written my War Room on a Wednesday, but I've got talk of a preview of some of the visitors coming in, Chad, on tomorrow and Saturday for Texas. Some recruiting visitors coming in, including some pretty big national names. Then I got some updates on guys that I've talked to recently, guys like Jonah Williams, just kind of some thoughts on where things stand with him. A lot on Texas commitment Lance Jackson. I got to see him last weekend. I got to talk to some other people about Lance Jackson. And 3 or 4 other guys too. So I'll have some recruiting intel for the War Room tonight.
Very nice. That hits on Thursday afternoon, evening. Always look for it there at orangebloods.com. There's your QR code to scan if you want. Get on in. Great time to sign up for orangebloods.com. 30 days until the spring game. I'll get your thoughts on basketball, gentlemen, but before that, Alex, I need some thoughts on beef. Texas beef traders. Tell the people, make me hungry.
There's just nothing like it. Texas Beef Traders, TexasBeefTraders.com, Ranch Direct right from Mason, Texas. I'm heading to Texas Beef Traders, if not this afternoon, tomorrow to just go reload. Man, it's all my family eats. Texas Beef Traders, TexasBeefTraders.com. Not only is it, it's steroid free. There's no mRNA vaccines. It's all non-GMO. It's grass-fed, bred Angus, black Angus beef from Mason, Texas. It tastes like the hill country. It's delicious. Whether you want one of those tomahawk steaks like that, whether you want to get a ribeye, whether you want to get a New York strip, fillets, briskets. I mean, whatever you want, they have it. They give me stuff. They gave me this one last week called like a Del Monaco steak. It's a chuck eye steak. It was delicious, man. All I did was I went into Texas Beef Traders. I went and hung out, had a few beers with Darren. Next thing you know, he's sending me home with a bunch of beef. And if you go in there, you'll get 10% off. Let me just tell you also, when you go into Texas Beef Traders, you go see Darren, you go see Shay, let him give you a beer. Let him show you around and let him suggest some cuts of meat to you. There are going to be some that you've just never had that it's melt in your mouth good. And it's cheaper than HEB. And you know it's coming from America. That meat at HEB, all it says made in the USA. Do you know what that means? It was processed at HEB's plant in San Antonio. Guys, go to Texas Beef Traders. You're going to get 10% off. And look, if you can't get into Lakeway, I get it. If you can't get into Lakeway, I get it. Listen, just call it there. Call Darren or Shay. You'll get 10% off. They'll just bring it to you. They'll just bring it to your house. Texas Beef Traders. Check them out.
All I know is if you're not hungry after today's show, we are not responsible. That ain't our fault. If you're not hungry after this show, that is not our fault. But that is a modcast for this Thursday. Let me just scan the chat, make sure we don't have any insider info coming in, make sure we don't have any super chats. All right, we're good. I'm not even sure what this is about, but working man, Hey, I can do beer though. All
He
right.
said, I'd love steaks if I only had teeth. And then he followed up with, I can do beer.
Oh,
though."
there it is. Okay, I got you.
Wow.
I got you. I missed the beginning of that one. Whatever, steak, beer, the combo, or maybe neither. Whatever you're doing today, we hope it's a good one. We hope your bracket's looking good. Real quick, gentlemen, let me see a show of hands. Who's picking Texas to beat Colorado State?
I mean, I did it in my bracket, but that doesn't mean anything.
Colorado
You're not
State.
gonna get any basketball analysis from me, boys. Like I don't like.
I picked CSU, and then I watched that game against Virginia, and I'm like, okay, Texas should be able to handle either one of these teams. But it's only 2.5 point spread, man. So it might be a game we're sweating out till the very end.
It might be. By the way, if you do need some basketball breakdown, we had it for you earlier at Orange Bloods Live, but coming up at 5 o'clock, if you need a little primer, remember the game's about 5:50 or so. At 5 o'clock this afternoon, be looking for it on socials, Orange Bloods, right here on Orange Bloods Live at OB Wire on Twitter. We will get that video out of Wes Miller, our guy Wes Miller, basketball player in his own right, but breaking it down for Orange Bloods throughout the season. His scouting report, the video version is going to be coming out tonight at 5 o'clock. So be looking for that. And it's already out there if you want to go.
What time's the game?
Orange Bloods. 5:50 is the scheduled tip time. Yeah. So right around 6 will be the schedule. They should be able to stick to that. I think the way they stagger it, but we'll see. And then
Where are they again? Where are they, Chad? You always know this stuff. Do you know what city they're in?
They're in Charlotte. Yeah. They're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Tennessee will follow them. So, yeah, if it's Texas and Tennessee, it'll be Rick Barnes, a Tennessee boy, coaching Tennessee in Tennessee against Texas, his former team. So we'll see if all that happens. So if you want that breakdown from Wes, you can check that out. Also at orangebloods.com. He's got the full look at Colorado State, what you need to know to impress your friends and family at the bar or whatever, and pretend like you actually watched Colorado State basketball this year, because we all did that, right? Everybody enjoy that game. Maybe we are talking about Texas versus Rick Barnes tomorrow. That game would be on Saturday. But first things first, Texas got to get it done. So we'll all pick Texas to beat Colorado State. But like Alex said, no heavy breakdown. We'll just cross our fingers and hope on that one. All right, gentlemen, I appreciate it. Anwar Richardson, Jason Sukumel, Alex Dunlap. It's the Modcast. Normally you see Jeff Ketchum right here in this box, and next week that will be the case. But Jeff's dealing with some stuff this week. He is fine. Everybody's good. He's just had a little hectic stuff show up this week, and he's having to deal with all of that. Might have him on the noon show tomorrow. We definitely will have an old-fashioned, Alex and Anwar. We got an old-fashioned in the morning?
As far as I know, unless Anwar tells me we don't.
We're good. You'll see us at 9 o'clock. You'll see us at 9 o'clock in the morning. We still got plenty of football to discuss.
That's it. 9 o'clock tomorrow for the old fashioned. Tomorrow for House Divided at 12. Hopefully there's a reason to bring Wes on tomorrow in the 12 o'clock show and maybe preview Texas and Tennessee. We will see. Remember to like, subscribe, and get those notifications for Orange Bloods Live. We really appreciate the support. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. Thanks to Specs for sponsoring the chat. And thanks to all of you, up over 500 in the Specs chat as we get ready to wrap it up. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Best of luck on your bracket, and we will talk to you soon. This is